50.25 seconds. A tool-assisted speedrun, or TAS, can create a theoretically perfect time by using save states, slowing down time, and even going frame by frame to enter inputs. 50.25 wasn't a real speedrun, but a demonstration of the fastest time possible, and Turk was just frames away from matching it. He was able to get it by doing guard manipulation, where you confuse Piston Honda by tapping and releasing up at strategic points to move his guard around so he can't block max punches. It's extremely difficult, and at one point requires a frame-perfect punch to the face while his guard is in a moment of weakness. Matt Turk's time mirrored the theoretical tool-assisted time, probably just losing a bit of time from losing frames from imperfect execution. Needless to say, beating Turk's Honda 2 time was nearly impossible, so it stood unrivaled with all of his other records. Meanwhile, in the years following Sinister One's initial Punch-Out grind, he had focused much of his efforts playing single segment, where you play the game from start to finish and add up your times in each of the 14 fights. He streamed his attempts live on his Twitch channel, and people had gotten used to him speedrunning the full game. But then one day in August 2013, he just started up a stream of Piston Honda 2 world record attempts. Keep in mind, Turk's record is 50.97, and it was impossible to go under 50.25, so there wasn't much room to get a world record. At least, that's what everybody thought.
That's it! I just beat the fucking Taz. Oh my god, I'm holding start so hard right now. I'm holding start more than I've ever held it in my life. Yes! Fuck yes! Fuck yes! Fuck yes! I just beat the Taz! I just beat the motherfucking Taz! Oh my god! It's gonna be a low 48. 48 flat. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. I can't believe this is real.
He had just beaten the theoretically perfect tool-assisted speedrun by more than 2 seconds. Sinister had just pulled off a fight with his own 2 hands faster than anybody had been able to even theoretically figure out with an emulator. What had just happened? Well, unknown to everyone watching his stream, a few days prior, someone had figured out how to beat that theoretical Piston Honda 2 record. His name was McHazard, and after discovering it, he privately messaged Sinister One to tell him about his findings. The main issue with the old tool-assisted time was here in Phase 2, where he had to wait a long time before throwing a star punch. Honda normally starts dodging any star punches you throw at him after the third one, but if you wait to throw it until he's doing his appropriately named eyebrow pattern, it'll land and deal damage. So, the tool-assisted record had to stand still and wait until the eyebrow pattern began. McHazard figured out a way around that. He discovered that Piston Honda 2 has a bizarre mechanic that few other fighters in the game have: max damage uppercuts. When Honda's guard is down, you can press up and start to throw a star punch uppercut, then let go of up when Honda brings his gloves up. For whatever reason, if performed correctly, then not only can Honda not dodge this punch, but it also deals more damage than a normal star punch. So, Sinister simply implemented this max damage star punch when he would normally be waiting for the eyebrow pattern in Phase 2, and sent him down about 5 seconds faster than normal. Over the following months, McHazard would broaden his search for faster strategies to all 14 fights, and ultimately made a new, faster tool-assisted speedrun of the entire game. It featured improvements to 8 of the 14 fights, meaning 8 fights now had new theoretical load times that humans could try to get closer to. For the past few years, the only times of Turk that had been toppled were ones that were already theoretically perfect, or ones that were more obviously imperfect like Mr. Sandman. But with this new tool-assisted speedrun, the horizon expanded so much. McHazard had completely changed the playing field. It was time to see what else these players could do. The next big push to beat Matt Turk's times came during 1 week in April 2014, where 3 of Turk's records were about to go down. It's here we see just how important McHazard's task was going to be. Coincidentally though, the first one had nothing to do with his task. I mentioned before there was a 4th record Turk had set that was at its theoretical limit. That fight was Great Tiger, with his time of 47.48. Remember how Don Flamenco has that frame-perfect punch to get a star? Well, Great Tiger has 4 of them. After punching Tiger in the face, you dodge out of the way of his jab, then wait until the last frame before he would block and punch him in the face. If you hit the perfect frame, then you get a star punch, before having to repeat this process 3 more times in the first phase. Thankfully, phases 2 and 3 are free. Great Tiger gets up on a 1 count twice, which means a single star punch from Little Mac will send him down automatically. There's no randomness in this fight, and thanks to a couple of timing strategies Zalor discovered to time a couple of the punches late in phase 1, the only difficult part of the fight is the 4 face punches. But keep in mind, you have a 60th of a second to time each of them. Someone just had to grind the fight out until they got the 4 frame perfect punches, and on April 5th, Zalor was able to pull it off. He got a 47.48, tying Matt Turk and the theoretical perfect time. Meanwhile, Sinister One was working on his own project. Matt Turk's Piston Honda 1 time of 42.97 was a bit of a mystery, since it was one of very few fights where he didn't reveal his strategy. However, thanks to McHazard's new TAS, Sinister was able to come up with an even better one. Phase 1 was a variation of a strategy Sinister had discovered years prior, using heavy guard manipulation to sneak in punches all over and get stars. Key parts to this phase included landing a gut punch at the start with a 3-frame timing window, sneaking in an extra gut punch toward the end of the phase that had a 25% chance of going through, then not getting blocked at all on the last 3 face punches, which is about 50%. Honda gets up on a 1 count for phase 2, so a single star punch was enough to send him down right away. At the start of phase 3, Sinister would do a max damage star punch similar to the ones McHazard found on Piston Honda 2, then hit him in the face and do a couple of star punches. With a good health refill from Honda, it would be enough to get a low 42-second time and beat Matt Turk by just a little bit. The odds in getting this fight were under 5% from randomness alone, not taking into account the rather difficult execution. Nonetheless, Sinister very quickly got a run to phase 3, but unfortunately